So today we're going to solve multi-step inequalities, and again they're very much like multi-step equations. The only thing that's different is if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you reverse your inequality symbol, but our goal is still the same. So we find our variable, we want to get it by itself, so we would need to subtract 8 from each side. Get a better writing tool than that. So subtract 8. We get negative 5x is less than or equal to, again, change, that would be add now, negative 20. Divide both sides by negative 5. Since I am dividing by a negative, I need to reverse my inequality symbol. 20 divided by 5 is 4. The signs are the same, so it is positive. In this problem, I want to get my y by itself, so I have to get rid of the negative 4, so I would need to add 4 to both sides. Those are gone, leaving me negative 6y, so don't lose that negative sign, is greater than. Here the signs are different, so you subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. The opposite of multiply by negative 6 would be divide by negative 6. Again, make sure you're showing your steps. We are dividing by a negative, so we're going to reverse our inequality symbol. 24 divided by 6 is 4. The signs are the same, so it is positive. In this problem, we need to say what's the opposite of subtract 8? Add 8. So I need to show adding 8 to both sides. That leaves me x over 4 is greater than, the signs are different, so you're going to subtract, giving you 6. Remember, this bar means divide, so the opposite of divide is multiply by 4. Show it on each side like this. These cancel, and you get x is greater than 24. We did not do anything with the negative there, so we didn't have to worry about that. Now here you should notice that we have y's on this side, so they're just on one side, so all we do is do the math problem. 6y minus 2y would be 4y plus 5 is less than 1. What's the opposite of add 5? Subtract 5, so we do that from each side. We get 4y is less than, we do our add the opposite. Signs are different, you subtract, keep the sign bigger number, gives us negative 4. We're going to divide both sides by 4, and then we would get y is less than negative 1. Again, we divided by a positive number, so we do not need to reverse our inequality symbol. In this problem, you should notice you have variables on both sides, so you need to get those variables on the same side. I like to take care of my x's first, so I'm going to subtract 4x from each side. You could start differently if you wanted to. Notice here I'm left with negative 8. Don't lose those negative signs. Greater than or equal to 8x minus 4x is 4x plus 8. Now here's where you need to stop and think. Where is your variable? It's over here on the right, so I want to get things on the other side. So I would need to get rid of this 8 right here, so I would need to subtract 8 from each side. Negative 8 minus 8 becomes plus negative, would give me negative 16 is greater than or equal to 4x. Again, I want to get the variable by itself, so I'm going to divide by 4. Negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4 is greater than or equal to x. Now when I read this, I might read it in reverse. Reading from the x, it says x is less than or equal to negative 4. And if you were graphing, you would probably want to write it this way. In this problem, we can't really get rid of the 4 first because it's also being divided right here. So we want to undo that first, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. These cancel, leaving 2y minus 4 is greater than 18. And a pretty basic problem. Add 4 to each side. 2y is greater than 22. Divide by 2. Y is greater than 11. We have a word problem. Remember, you need to define the variable. So we're trying to find a number. We don't know what it is, so use x equals a number. It doesn't say anything about evens or odds or anything like that. 3/4 of the number, that would be 3/4 times the number, decreased by 6 would be minus 6. If it's no more than 6, if it's not more than 6, it would have to be less than or equal to 6. So we would need to add 6 to each side and get 3/4 x is less than or equal to 12. And again, look at this. We want to get rid of the 3/4. Well, it's being multiplied, so the opposite of multiply is divide. But how do we divide with fractions? We multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4 over 3. These all cancel, leaving us x is less than or equal to. Here you think of it as 12 over 1. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 12 4 times. So 4 times 4 is 16, and it's all over 1, so we don't write it when it's over 1.